Are you intrigued by history and science that have contested explanations? Ever thought, I'm definitely smarter than my friends, but not as smart as the experts? Then join Craig and Dave as they explore the mysteries of who the why the and how the will they actually find the answers? Probably not, but they'll have a good time trying. Welcome to Craig and Dave's Sci-Piece.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Craig and Dave's Sci-Piece.
Thrilling.
Yeah. We are navigating new seas here.
We are. Yes, we are.
Yeah, see what I did?
Yeah, see what you did there. See what I did?
All right,
we're
have a
killing
good night,
it.
everyone. We'll see ourselves out.
Oh, God.
God, that went way worse than I thought in my
Yeah,
head.
yep.
Well, no, this episode, we're going to talk about ancient sailors.
Yes.
It was the topic we pulled at the end of the last one.
Yep.
And again, this is a topic actually similar to the Kailasa Temple episode, where this is just fascinating to me that people just did this.
Yeah.
There's some questions about timelines, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
But for me, it's like when we're talking about ancient sailors, in my mind, I'm thinking of like Polynesians that just like they were on islands and they're like, you know what? Let's go find another one.
Yeah.
And they just picked a direction and left. You know, so I think of people like that. I think of
Let's go to this giant burning one.
yeah, that one's on fire. It's smoke.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how desperate were you? Were you out in the ocean? Like how long you been out there? Like let's go land on the fire.
On the volcano, the giant lava spitting island. I like that one.
That one looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like I think about those people. I think about like we talk about Vikings just setting out like out into the ocean. Like you know what? We're just gonna go.
We're just going to go. Yeah.
In relatively small ships.
Yep.
Before then, you can talk about like the Phoenicians or the Minoans throughout the Mediterranean stuff.
Yeah.
Like people say, well, the Mediterranean, it's still an ocean.
Yeah.
If you stand on one shore, you can't see
see the
across.
other one.
It's
Yeah.
an ocean,
Yep.
So, but for me, it's always like I always think of like Polynesians, like the Pacific Islander, like that culture.
Yep.
These people had small, open air ships,
Yeah.
canoes.
Yeah.
And they were
basically,
like, you know
canoe.
what? We're gonna go try to find another island.
Yep.
And they just went out into like. Now I don't know anyone's ever been on a cruise or out a few miles offshore.
Yep.
You look around, there is nothing.
Yep.
So to just say we're gonna pack up a bunch of food and a few livestock animals and just go and
Yep.
hope for the best.
And yeah, exactly. Hope for the best. Yeah.
And they did. They ended up pollinating.
I guess you could say they pollinated. Yeah.
Just populated a bunch of islands.
A bunch of islands.
throughout
Yeah.
the Pacific Ocean.
Yep.
Which to me is just freaking wild.
I mean, if you look at a map and you look where Hawaii is, you're like, that's in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Nothing.
It's just the Pacific Ocean is massive.
Yeah.
And just to say, you're talking thousands of miles that they traveled
Yeah.
to get to this island.
On a whole that they didn't know was there.
That they didn't know was there.
That's what blows my
Yeah.
freaking mind.
Yep.
Is they figured I wonder sometimes how many people didn't make it anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Or even back to where you came from. Like, can you find your way back?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. And I mean, obviously they had some sort of navigation, which would be the stars.
Yeah.
So it's possible that they knew enough that they could get back,
Sure.
you know? Because that always blew my mind too. Like you're like leaving and you're like, I'm gonna go from cross the Atlantic entirely, and I'm gonna go right back to
The
Spain,
same spot. Yeah.
and right back to the same spot, and just using the stars.
Yeah. How did you think they just went back and they're like, all right, let's just sail north for a few days and try to figure it out?
Yeah,
They're just going back and forth.
back and forth. Like, oh, I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, that guy's speaking Italian. North. Let's go. Like,
Those people look really tan.
yeah.
Way north.
Way north. Way north. Yeah.
But that's a whole continent.
Yeah.
We're talking about little dots in
Little dots.
hundreds of thousands of square miles.
Yep.
Of nothing.
Yeah.
Just
exactly.
water. And the fact that they not just the fact that they did it, but they had the freaking balls to try it
Yeah.
is just
Like why?
Why?
My thing is like, why would you leave? There must have been something. Something must have happened to say,
Right.
okay, we got to get out of here. You know, something terrible happened or whatever.
it could have been population. Hey, we're getting to have too many people.
Yeah.
Time to send half of you away.
like, yeah, go.
Yeah.
And just to say, okay, I'm going to pack up my family
Yeah.
and a whole bunch of other people. And we're just going to go that way
Right.
and
hope we
for,
find
and
something.
hope for the best. And you think so? If you left,
Let's hope these 3 pigs make it.
yeah, exactly. So, and if you left, you had to bring enough water.
Yep.
You know, and I mean, I'm sure they did things like had rain catches and stuff like
course they
that.
did.
But still, you had to bring enough water. You had to bring enough food. I mean, they obviously fished and did that stuff too. They were prepared for it. But how do you
But then you had to have enough when you got to, hopefully, if you found a place, to establish a settlement.
to establish a settlement? Exactly, because you could get there and you'd be like, well, it's just rocks.
Yeah,
We're screwed.
We just ate our last chicken.
Yeah, exactly. So you had to do. You traveled thousands of miles on a hope and a prayer.
Right.
Like just like, okay, here
Some
I
boats
go.
the size of this garage.
That's the thing too, is they weren't like on giant schooners and stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
It's not Carnival Cruise Line.
Yeah, they were using like canoes almost
Yeah.
with the what do you call it on the sides? They would use those
Oh, you know more about
yeah,
sailing than I do.
pontoons.
Yes. All right.
You know, to keep it more stable and balanced. Obviously, you're
but
in the
still.
middle of the ocean, but you're in the middle of the ocean. One storm, you're screwed.
That's it.
You're screwed.
Done.
You run into one storm where you got 50-foot waves, you're done.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
So, like you said, how many people left and how many people arrived?
Right. But
You know?
just the fact that that was their culture. It wasn't just a few people like, hey, we're going to go try to find a place. It was like, that's what they did.
That's what they did. Yeah,
for thousands of years.
thousands of years, and you go,
And it worked.
and it worked because look at the similarities too, like New Zealand, like New Zealand.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
And you know, when the first time somebody discovered New Zealand, there were people there,
Right.
and they kind of look like Polynesians.
Imagine that.
You know, you know, and so you had these people. They were just spreading out all over the place.
All
too,
over the
You know,
place.
which is amazing to me.
And they kept their culture, which is
Yeah.
wild to me because it's like they spread out over, like I said, thousands of square miles across an
vast, yeah.
ocean. And that's how you know they were successful because that culture, obviously there's differences in places,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of similarities.
Similarities in culture. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
amazing to me that they were able to do stuff like that and willing and like that's just what they did.
Yeah.
I-
It's crazy to me.
That's why I like Moana so much.
Right? Yeah.
I love that. My wife
But-
hates it because I'll watch it and be like, you believe people actually did this?
Yeah, it's true. It's just crazy that you just left. Like we're gonna go, and the Vikings did it.
Yeah.
Vikings, we're gonna go that way
In worse conditions.
in worse conditions in the North
Like,
Atlantic.
they were like, all right, we have to wait for the ocean to be unfrozen before we can leave.
yeah, and it's still never gonna be totally like
No, but at
it's-
least we can dodge the ice right now.
Yeah, exactly. And that was like that's another thing. And granted, I think their ability to travel further was simpler than the Polynesians
course
because
it
they
was.
could follow, Greenland, Iceland, basically kind of riding along the
they
coastlines.
they found
You know?
Iceland and Greenland because they just kept going a little further and a little further.
Yeah.
But they knew there were large land masses behind them. That was
Yeah.
the thing. They weren't coming from island to island.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
the islands they found were large land masses.
Yep.
but still, like they did it. They got him like, all right, we're gonna get in this 30-foot rowboat and we're gonna sail out into the North Atlantic
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Like
and row. We're gonna row across the ocean.
Rowing. That's crazy.
Fucking
Yep.
dude, all these people, like, I don't know how. But yeah, the Vikings, they're like, you know what? Let's go a little further. Let's try it. So let's go
Maybe
further.
we'll find something else, something a little better. Maybe there'll be people with gold, and
Yeah.
we'll kill them, and
Yeah.
we'll come back. You know,
And then we can do it again next year.
Yeah, exactly. But we know they made it to the Americas.
They did. Yep.
You know,
They were the first Canadians.
They were the first Canadians, exactly. They, and as much as everybody, you know, like the whole Christopher Columbus thing forever was like, okay, oh, Christopher Columbus discovered the Americas. You know,
He just
It's like,
documented it
no,
first.
he documented it first. And granted, the Vikings talk about it. They talk about Vinland and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know, but we know they were here.
Yeah.
There's a freaking village
There's
in
yeah,
Canada.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
it looks just like all the ones in Norway.
exactly like them, and they've found. And you
There's
look
a big
at,
stone out front that says Eric from Norway built this house.
yeah, plaque. There's a plaque on the front, yeah. But you also had stories. Native Americans had stories of tall white men
Yeah. With the blue eyes.
with
and
the blue
yeah.
eye. Yeah, who's that?
Right.
You know what I mean? Who are those people? You know.
It wasn't the Spanish.
No,
That-
definitely.
It
Yeah,
wasn't the Spanish.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, they had those theories, and then there's also theories too that like around like early, like late 1300s and stuff, 1200s, that the Templars had come here as
Sure.
well because they knew about it.
But at that
because
point,
the
there were
Vikings-
established roots and stuff. Yeah.
You know, because the Vikings had talked about it. People knew about it. There was just nothing. Christopher Columbus thought he was going to sail to India.
Right.
Is what he thought he was going to do.
Yeah, he was trying to.
He was trying to get a trade route to India
Yes.
faster than going across the land, like the Silk Road and all that stuff.
Right.
It was probably safer, and you know, it was
Yeah.
probably well.
He thought it was
I
gonna be
guess he
safer.
thought it was going to be safer. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but even that, he just ventured out, and a whole bunch of guys were like, "Yeah, I'll go with you," and they're like, "We might not find anything." You know,
Yeah.
some of them were like, "We might sail off the edge of the earth."
Yeah.
You know, and other ones were like, well, we know the earth is round, but we could be lost. We don't know
Forever.
how big it is.
Yep.
We could be lost forever, you know? And they went, and they almost did. They were suffering at the end, you know, and,
Yeah.
and they arrived with less ships than they left with.
Yep.
And those were
Happens.
big ships, too. Those were bigger.
Yeah.
Bigger.
They
I
pla-
wouldn't want to sail on one of those top-heavy, giant,
No,
stupid
they
things.
planned to be out at sea for a couple months.
Yeah.
You know, so like they had that stuff, but still, like the fact that people just did that blows my mind.
Yeah.
But like that to me, I don't want to say less impressive, but it is like. But when we talk about like the Vikings and all, they were using small ships out
They-
open ocean.
Open ocean, they weren't very big ships, and a lot of them, like, they didn't have like they had holes on the Viking ships, but a lot of that was storing goods and stuff.
Right,
It's not
yeah.
like, you know, I'm sure if the weather was real bad, they could take turns a couple of guys going down there and trying to warm up. and,
Yeah.
you know, in your leaky boat, because you know those things were leaking a little bit. You know what I mean? It was, you know.
But I also saw that like they found a lot of Vikings had sealskin jackets and boots that were waterproof
Yeah.
and insulated. They're like it's better than our like scuba equipment today.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just wearing seals. Like, hey, those things swim and they're fine.
They're fine.
Let's wear it.
Let's cut its skin off and put it inside out, and wear it. We're all set. Yeah, and they would cover them with like fat,
Yep.
too, and stuff to make them even more waterproof. You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but it is crazy. And then you go back to, at some point. There were people, even, you talk about the Mediterranean and everything. Thousands of years ago, Romans were building giant boats. The Egyptians were building gigantic
Huge barges
things,
and
barges
yeah.
and stuff.
But before them, there were the Phoenicians and Minoans, like in that whole same thing. Like they had perfected their ships for that environment.
For that environment, and then trade. It was like
Yep.
it was all like, okay, I can go here and bring them this, and we can get this and come
Yeah.
back.
And then came Alexander the Great. He's like, you know what? I want one of those barges, but bigger and just for sex.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Called the stank boat. Sorry.
And the stank boat. All right.
No, we get off track. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got off track a little bit.
No, but like even through the Mediterranean, wherever it's an ocean.
Yeah.
You're setting out. There's always danger of storm. Like the Great Lakes here
Yeah.
have storms and 30-foot swells. And like,
Giant
they
boats.
sink tankers.
They sink tankers.
Right?
Exactly.
You know, so like it's closed body of water like that is not even as big as the Mediterranean. So like
Yeah.
you can't discount that. But they perfected their sailing vessels for what they needed.
For what they needed.
And all those cultures did. They were all different. Like the people sailing around the Mediterranean had certain styles of ships.
Yep.
The Vikings, they had the longboats that were real wide and short, like the keels and things. Then you go out to, we talked about the Polynesians. Like they didn't have deep keels. They had the pontoons off the sides. They all different for what they needed, but they figured out ways to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is wild to me that they were just like, you know what? This land isn't good enough.
It's not good enough. Let's get 3 of us inside this small thing and start paddling.
I've noticed that stick's been floating. Let's hollow one out and sit in it.
Yeah. yeah. But it's true. It's crazy. Like, and then I just find it amazing. I mean, they knew like food couldn't come from the ocean. We just
They're all fishing. They all knew that.
They were all fishing. They were whether it was shellfish or regular fish. They were doing this stuff.
Right.
So it provided. They knew they couldn't drink the water.
Yep.
But it's just it's amazing that they just decided to go. Like you said. I mean, you look at like Easter Island. It's in the middle of nowhere.
Like not just it takes. There's no reason to go there.
There's no reason to go there. Yeah, exactly. It's just, I don't know. And then go there, and it's not like, especially Easter Island. It's not like it's loaded with forest.
It was.
They chopped all the trees down.
Yeah, and then they're like, "Oh shit, we're stuck."
Yeah.
I guess we'll start to eat those people first.
Yeah, they did. They cut all the trees down.
All of them.
Because think about it. You need fire, so you need firewood.
Yep.
You need to build structure. I mean, they were building things out of stone. With the moai and stuff like that. But I mean, they chopped down an entire island worth of trees to a point they just don't grow there anymore. Like
right. Still.
Yeah. They even like use the seeds.
Something.
Yeah, it's crazy. But
they must not have had a public works department.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No planning committee.
No planning committee. Yeah. Those always work great. But I mean,
maybe Marge was right.
Yeah.
Gardening should have been a priority.
But to sail like finding that island, that's one of those things too. You're at sea for so long, and you see it, and you're like, oh,
yep.
Like we gotta go there for one thing and restock, whether we were gonna stay or not. See if it's worth staying, and,
right?
And that's what they did. But I mean, like you get you look at Hawaii, and it's a chain of islands. There's a few islands, and some of them are massive. So it was easy for them to say like,
you can see it from one. You can see one from another.
Yeah, exactly. And you're like, they're like, this works. We'll just keep island hopping until we find a place that we want to settle.
Yeah.
And go from there. And then when we start arguing, we'll send you over that island.
Right.
And then we'll be warring factions, and then we'll go on from there. And that's what they did.
Yeah.
And then the Chinese were sailing for thousands of years. They were doing some incredible stuff. Huge, yeah.
Huge coastline.
And
same thing, just venturing out into the ocean. And there were thoughts that maybe they had touched the west coast of the Americas.
Yeah.
Which is probably likely.
Most likely.
If you think about what the Polynesians did, and just venturing out into the ocean, chances are that the Chinese or anyone along that whole coastline set out and they found parts of the west coast of the Americas.
Yeah, exactly.
Chances are it's happened.
Yeah, chances are pretty good. And you also get things like we're talking about the Polynesians. They probably reached
of course.
If you went that far to go to Hawaii and you hit it, there's going to be a couple of them like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go see if I can find something else too.
Right.
If that's already what their thing was.
Why would they stop there?
Especially the first time that volcano went off. Like, we got the hell out of here. Like, what was that? The ground exploded.
We don't need to cook all of our food right now.
Yeah, exactly. But
yeah.
you know, it's possible that they made it there, you know, and
Yeah.
it could have been just a small group that made it and then never really got to establish anything and,
Who
you know,
knows? Yeah.
didn't survive the first winter or something, you know, and that's it.
But again, like you think of the whole western coastline of the Americas, north, central, and south, is thousands and thousands of miles long.
Yeah,
Chances are someone hit it and stopped.
exactly.
And you'll never hear from them again.
No, exactly.
We would never know.
Yep.
Never know.
Yeah. And then, like, I mean, like we said, establishing trade routes and doing all this stuff, and then the balls that it takes to just say you're going to go do that, even in later times, you know, when people were like, all right, I mean, granted, you know, you're still talking like the 1500s
Yeah.
and stuff, but they're like, I think if I go north, I know there's a lot of ice up there, but you know, if we go, I might be able to find a passage through that.
Yeah, if we are on a big ball,
Yeah.
we should be able to come out on the other side.
Yeah.
We don't have to go left. We can go up.
We can go up, and yeah, and then they got there and they all died because it's wicked cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It froze and like, oh,
they're like,
I guess we're walking now.
Yeah, this sucks. Yeah,
And then summer showed up like, shit, where's the boat?
Yep. Yeah, but I mean, you know, just to have that, like,
Yeah.
like let's just do it. I mean, exploring, man.
That's something that evades my my personality is I'm not gonna just wander out into something I don't know anything about.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not me.
Yeah, I know.
But
what
these
you mean,
people
but
were like, either they knew something was like I'm pretty sure there's something out there. We're gonna go find it.
we're gonna go find it.
Or they're like, you know what? We're just gonna go out and see what's out there.
Yeah.
Could not do it.
No,
Could
exactly.
not do it.
You know, and we've talked about the fact, like, so you know, like, we know the Vikings had gone down all the way down, like Morocco.
Yeah.
You know, and all that stuff.
They sailed all the way into like the Middle East.
Yeah, and they were just like, I want to go check it out. Let's go see what they got in case we want to come back and take it. You know, and they just went down there.
They did.
But they did. But you imagine that, like, you leave your home, it's like always cold, and all that stuff.
The
and then all of a
ground
sudden
sucks.
you're in the desert.
Yeah.
You're like, what the hell is this? Why is
Maybe we
this?
should have stopped in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, sailing into the Mediterranean, they must have been like, this is incredible. Like,
Yeah.
what is this? It's, you know, abundant with all these resources and all this stuff,
We gotta come back.
you know? But then they got there. When they got there, they realized there was a lot of people there.
Yeah.
That was the
They
thing.
were way more advanced than them.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was a little different than going to, like, you know,
Germania.
or England.
Yeah.
You know, a small island with just a
They were living in
barely-
Roman ruins.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Yeah, they went to the part of the world where they had overthrown Rome
Yeah. Yep.
and then thrived. But yeah, I mean, they kind of reestablished trade routes after the Dark Ages
Yeah.
in that part of Europe,
Yep.
just because they were like, let's go check it out.
Like, yeah. And just the ability to figure out if I follow that star,
Yeah, that star's
That's-
there every night.
that star's there every night, and figure out how to navigate using the stars, you know,
yeah.
is insane to me.
If I just keep it on this side of the boat, I'll end up. I know I'm going the same.
I know I'm
direction.
going the same direction. Yeah, and I watch as the sun goes through the sky, and I know how far I went.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, that's crazy to me.
Did you see that they found on the Vikings had this stone, this mineral that they would
The
use,
sunstone.
the sunstone.
Yeah,
Where you can hold it up on a cloudy day and you can
find
see
where
through-
the sun was.
It's like having polarized sunglasses.
Yeah,
And they had those on their ships. They'd be like, how did they navigate on cloudy days? Hold this up.
just hold that up.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
We can turn a little this way.
and then maybe at night you just don't row.
Yeah.
You just wait until the morning so you can kind of figure out exactly where you are, how far you've traveled, you know,
Yep.
how far you've drifted,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, it's amazing. And then, you know, even the guy who came up with the sextant was just like a genius. Like, you know, like someone's like, hey, if you hold this thing up and you measure the angle to the stars and you follow the rotation and you do this, it'll get you exactly where you want to go.
Yeah. It's
know?
incredible. But that's all learned over hundreds of years
yeah.
of doing the same thing.
The same thing.
And
Exactly.
making adjustments and stuff. And yeah, this is one of those things that just fascinates me in terms of people did that.
Yeah.
There was a time where they had just simple things and they would like, we're gonna go.
Yeah, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go try to find a better life or death.
Right.
Like, because that was your two options.
Yeah.
You were either gonna die or find something where you could thrive,
Yeah.
and that was it, which is mind-boggling. But
Bunch of Polynesian kids like, I'm sick of you smothering me, Mom. Leave
yeah,
me.
I'm out of here.
I want my own room.
Yeah. I'm leaving. I'm taking my paddle and going home.
Forever.
Forever.
And this
Nah,
is my
but-
pig.
Yeah. But yeah, it's insane, and
Yeah.
and just the the stuff, like I said, like even you look at like Aborigines in Australia,
Yeah.
where'd they come from?
They either were there when there was a land bridge, or
Yeah.
they got into floating wood and
Floating
paddled
wood
over
and
there,
paddled over there,
which is probably more likely.
yeah. More,
It-
I would say more likely, yeah.
Yeah, and then they were like, "All right, this is good."
Yeah,
This is ours.
This is ours. We're gonna stay here with all these death beasts. Like, we
That's not wrong.
found a land of horrors.
Yeah.
We're gonna stay here.
This makes me miss the burning ground.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
God. But yeah, like the fact that people thousands of years ago with just a boat and said we're gonna go sail across the ocean,
Yeah.
knowing that we may or may not find land,
Yep.
dude, blows my mind. People do
Yeah. Exactly. It
that.
does.
Yeah, I have anxiety not knowing what I have on my work schedule tomorrow. And
Yeah.
these people just like, maybe we'll wake up.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe we'll wake up. Yeah. Who knows?
But if you have
But-
thoughts about ancient sailors, let us know.
Yep.
You can do it. We have an email, cdscipiece@gmail.com. You can reach out to us on social. We're pretty sure we have Facebook.
Social?
Social, is that what I
Yeah.
said?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not even drinking today.
Yeah. Right.
Social media.
Yep.
Yeah, we have a Facebook page. I think we use it sometimes.
We do. Yeah. Occasionally.
But you can listen to us on any of your podcast platforms. If you want to watch us do the show, we are on YouTube as well.
And Spotify. Yeah. You can
Yep.
watch it on Spotify as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, give us topics. If you have thoughts about our thoughts on topics, we'd love to hear them.
Yeah. Exactly.
In the meantime, Craig, why don't you get us a topic for our next episode?
Alrighty. The Richat structure, is that how you say
Richat
it?
structure?
Richat structure. Yeah, Richat
Is that right?
structure. I think so. Hey, if you know how to pronounce it, let us know.
Perfect. All right, till next time. Love you, Josh Gates.
Bye, Josh.